You know, bass fishing to me it's a passion. It's been an obsession for a long time, and when I get a chance to go at different times, there are things that always pop into my mind when I'm going to the lake. Even before that, when I'm planning a trip, you know, how I'm gonna catch them. I'm looking at the weather, I'm trying to make a strategy, and those are all fun to me to be looking at. And then as I get the boat in the water, you've heard me talk about this if you watched this before, I'm looking at the water color, I'm looking at the water temperature, what's the wind doing, you know, what is the general consensus, hey, even what social media might be saying. And I keep all that in somewhat of an open mind, but at the back of my mind, I've already got several baits tied on. I've got several rods laid out. I've got several things that are going on, and they tend to be what I have confidence in based on past trips maybe to that body of water, or the past when I've seen that similar type of conditions. It's so fun just to go fishing. You know, whether you get a fish during the middle of the week, on the weekends, whenever you get a chance to go, it's just always fun. But for me, when I do go fishing, I just pay attention to that temperature, the water clarity, what the wind's doing, try to read all my electronics when I first put the boat in the water. And if I'm fishing something new, I've, you know, maybe called some buddies here or there to get insight. If I'm fishing a place that I know pretty well, I've got some preconceived notions, and I want to just get a bait in my hand, get out there and just start chunking and widening and see what happens. Right now we've got wind coming off the main lake down into this pocket. Water temperatures in the, you know, mid 60s it looks like right here where we're at, and I'm just gonna pick something up and wind with the wind and fish all the way to the back of this and see if I can't get a clue. There's bite number one. Little bass up there on the fall. Little bitty guy. He thought he had something he wanted to bite a hold of. How fat that little guy is. You are going to be a future giant. We're going to be as gentle as we can. Hopefully you learn from your lesson, and we'll catch you down the road. We hadn't made 15, 20 casts. Water temperature back here is a lot warmer than I really thought it would be. I probably need to go dab around up there with a soft plastic and see if I can't catch something up there against the bank. You just never know. I mean, you know, it's so easy to have those preconceived notions. I talk to me and my friends talk about that all the time. Boy, I thought I was going to catch them this way, but you got to let the fish tell you, give you a clue. And sometimes your preconceived notions are right, and it gives you a chance to start. I mean, and you know, if you look across my deck, I've got 8 rods out and probably another 8 or 10 in the boat, and they are as different by the baits, the line size, the actions as you can expect. And that's because I don't know what I'll figure out. And what you figure out the first 2 hours of your trip may totally change as the day goes on. But we have captured one we will not skunk. When I analyze all of the things into my mind, and man, you make a lot of mistakes when you're fishing, but you tend to go back to things you're comfortable doing when you go out. So I'm out on the water on a fishing trip, and I'm trying to put together the game plan. I'm trying to, you know, figure something out. When I do that and I'm just fishing baits that I, you know, have confidence in, I tend to fish better. Confidence, I think, in any type of fishing situation makes you fish more, I don't know, attentive to the details. You tend to work your bait a little better. You understand it because you've got a lot of confidence in that bait style. Come here, fish. Ah, so fun.
It's time now for our first break in the show. Coming up next, we continue to talk about fishing with confidence and how throwing a certain style bait can help you believe that you will catch more fish. Keep watching to learn more. To see more great content and take your fishing skills to the next level, subscribe to the Fisherman's Handbook YouTube channel. Here you'll find how-to videos, product features, and in-depth breakdowns that'll help you catch more fish. Just scan the QR code on the screen now and subscribe.
Little bitty guys are moving up here, pretty common, or you would expect it to be pretty common. I don't know if anything's really common in fishing, but you know, fish moving up here to set up to spawn, just kind of dragging that bait across there. I got broke off a while ago, spent 5 minutes retying, and I think my second cast, God, look how fat that little fish is. I mean, that's just a perfect looking, where they should go to spawn. If there is a, you know, a true read the book by the Bible kind of deal, this would be it to spawn. You know, when you're out on the water and you're not getting any bites, I think at that point your confidence can get low. What do? Do you run to the other end of the lake? Do you fish deeper? Do you go shallower? Do you change colors? You know, total presentation changes, total action changes, and you know, all of those play a big role in you determining, you know, what's next. And sometimes you guess right, sometimes your intuition points you in the right direction, and sometimes you don't. Boy, trying to figure out the piece of the puzzle some days is easier than others. Sometimes if you can just get a couple of bites to push something, it makes it easy. Then you get confidence and you start doing the same thing over and over. You start thinking about your technique instead of the 5 other baits you should be throwing. But if you don't get that bite to clue all that in, sure makes it tough to figure out. I know there's 512 bass within a football field of me right now. So that just tells you that I'm not doing the right thing or holding my mouth the right way or something. I think when fishing is tough for me and when I know they should be spawning, more often than not, you're gonna see me throwing some kind of a semi-weightless, wacky rig, Neko Rig, Texas rig, soft plastic jerk baits, and I'm bombing it up there, putting a little bit of, you know, slack in my line, letting it fall. I'm throwing to places I've got confidence in that there should be one spawning or setting up to spawn. And I'm looking for that bite that'll be generated in those situations where I know, because I've sight fished for so long, that fish is looking at every angle of it. He's spinning around, he's nibbling on the tail. That's why you miss some when you fish that style. They're grabbing one end or the other, and I'm waiting for that tap tap or the tug or that mushy feeling. You can see those little, I don't know, whatever those reeds are. I was shaking it beside that, and that little buck came up and ate that one. I mean, that's just as easy. Could have been a big one, but when you kind of see this kind of cover in these spawning pockets, and you can see it from some of the aerial footage that we've got. You can see these little indentations off this river, and you know, it's really the best place for a lot of these fish to come up and spawn. And I would assume, I mean, they could spawn in the forks of these trees too, but this first wave that we're seeing right here, it's kind of clear to me they're in these little sandy pockets just trying to do the thing. Got the Gamakatsu cover Neko hook here. It's got a little swivel you can see where my fingers are. It's going to help eliminate line twist when you're skipping and fishing the Neko rigs and the wacky worms or the chicken rig, whatever you want to call it. And it's got the nano alpha coating, which makes it super sleek. You can see that keeper right up there by the eye where I'm going to tie all this. That keeper really allows you to put the bait in there and get it to stay up and hold. And that's one of the challenges when you're rigging a lot of those styles of baits, is finding a way to keep the belly, keep the meat of the hook in play. And this one, thanks to its keeper, really gives you that capability. Now, don't ask me how to pronounce this. It's Gamakatsu-san. People that grew up in Oklahoma and live in Texas are not capable of the proper pronunciation. But what I can tell you is this is a cool looking bait for Neko rigging, wacky worm style. I'm running my hook right up through there. You can put a weight inside there, and I mean, it's got a shimmy and a shake that would make the most impressive dancer probably jealous out there at the end of the day. The other thing I like is you can see, like if you rig it the way I'm going to, it's got a little channel right there to be able to put your hook point, or you can make sure it's easily gonna come through to catch the fish, but also it allows you to be able to kind of Texpose it and fish it in super heavy cover or around grass or something along those lines. You know, obviously, when you're fishing and you don't have confidence in the bait or the location that you're fishing, you don't fish as thoroughly, you don't cast, you don't pay as much attention, you miss those subtle light bites, you're out of it in those situations. So when you can find confidence in something, even if it's only 2 or 3 bites that day, maybe that's all you're gonna get that day, you just fish and present your bait better. Hey, cut that out. Whoa, get away from that tree, buddy. Come over this way. You're another mean one. God, these fish, this time of the year, it's just amazing how mean some of these fish can be. That's so fun. I mean, it may look like I'm watching paint dry, but it is absolutely the way to catch them sometimes. It's just, you know, you're just kind of working a soft plastic super, super slow on the bottom, and this is a deadly technique to get them. And sooner or later, you're gonna catch a big female. Right now, we're just catching some nice 2-pounders that are fun to catch, but any given time, one of them big mouths are gonna come up out there and really stretch the line. That's so fun. I think the other thing about confidence, it goes to your preparation. You know, when you're rigging your boat, and you're getting ready to go out, and you're getting your tackle. I mean, it's fun to prepare tackle, I think. You know, you're digging around, you're getting organized, you're getting your baits in the right location, you're putting new line on, and all of that organizational aspect, to me, gives me confidence to help find fish. You know, in the wintertime, when that temperature drops and you got those big cold fronts and you really don't want to be out on the water, or it's not safe to be out on the water, that's when a lot of fishermen are doing their daydreaming and working on all their gear. And for me, when I'm working on gear, I'm thinking ahead to everything that I'm going to be doing in the coming months when I'm wearing shorts or short sleeves, or even what might be happening the next week or two when I'm going fishing. But that time when you're in your shop, you're in your garage, or maybe it's your living room and you're working on all your tackle and working on your boat as well, it's really valuable time to make some of your fishing trips even more successful. You know, looking at your boat, spending time doing some general maintenance, checking your tires, checking your boat straps, checking your batteries, checking all the connections, making sure your Garmins are updated. You know, using that active captain at that time of the year is really key. Get all your updates, check your maps, changing the batteries out in your power pole remotes, you know, up on your dash or on your foot pedal. That's real easy to do. You just pop them off, put a new battery in. You're gonna have power when you're easing down that bank later on, you see a big fish, you want to get those power poles to drop, you got to have batteries in your remote. Same thing when it comes to upgrading your equipment. This is a great time to put new transducers on. Everybody's excited about all the different forward-facing sonar transducers and different mapping opportunities, new trolling motors, new anything that you want to mount on your boat. And then when it comes to the main things, when it comes to fishing, it's a great time to upgrade and change out your fishing line. You know, a lot of guys don't change it out daily like a lot of the tournament anglers do. They change it out on a month or even a quarterly basis. It's a great time to take all those rods out, lubricate them, put new line on, get everything spun up, check the hooks, get all your tackle boxes reorganized. I spend a lot of time that time of the year, reorganizing my jerk baits and my crankbaits that have just lived in different parts of my boat as I've gone fishing during the year. Adding those new baits we got for Christmas or that we sneakily bought with nobody knowing during the spring classics that are happening everywhere. So just take advantage of that off-season time. Take advantage of a bad cold front. Take advantage of a day off at work and go through that boat, daydream about future fishing, get everything organized, everything updated, because when it comes time to go fishing, you're not going to be wanting to work on that boat. You're going to want to be making some casts.
We've now reached the final break in the show. As we continue to talk about confidence and all the elements that play to an angler's success, we'll take a look at the boat. Professional angler Mike McClelland joins us to talk about his Ranger boat and the many accessories that give him the confidence to compete at a high level. Don't go away.
You know, as I look at confidence and the innovations, you know, you look at the entire breakdown of the, I'm just going to talk about 10 years, a decade of throwing a Neko Rig in that style and the evolution. We've got sinking braid from Sunline now that helps make it more of a subtle presentation, keeps some of that, you know, more sensitivity to your hands. It's really come a long way from when we first started throwing it. The knots that we tie, look at the Sunline knot lineup. You go to their library on their website, it helps you teach. I mean, it's so animated and so detailed. It's really cool to watch how you build all those knots and tie them. Helps you a ton. The different hooks that we're using for these and the evolution of those, like the Gamakatsu hook and what it'll work in certain situations. You know, take it a step further in the innovations on the baits. You know, a straight worm works great. But you look at some of the appendages in a tough clear water bite in certain situations, these Nories baits that we're throwing, what they can do, and those are all innovations. And then you start to look at the boats now and how far they've come. You know, I've run a Ranger boat for a long time now. You know, you're looking at well over 50 years of innovation in those, and we had a chance recently to catch up with Mike McClelland. He shared a lot of details and insight on the brand new Ranger 521R. The innovations that are, you know, in just 2 years, the difference of the boat that I'm sitting in now and Mike's boat.
When you look at the R Series boat, there were a lot of the pros that actually had a lot of input into that particular boat. When we went from the L Series to the R, they brought a lot of us in and we went over different things. And one of the biggest things is just the way the boat's laid out with the storage and the creature features. The cooler, in my opinion, I mean, I've got to have some iced tea. The cooler is the finest cooler we have ever had. Lots of room in it. You can put, I mean, a lot of drinks, a full gallon of tea, whatever you want. Then you've got all of this broad storage. You've actually got storages in all three compartments. You can store rods on the port side, the starboard side, in the center, so you're never going to run out of spaces to put all your rods. The tackle storage still works really well. You've got places for your tools to go. You've got your tray around your inset trolling motor pedal or your recessed trolling motor pedal to allow you to, you know, have tools in that area as well. And then you have, you know, the other things, phone charger, the iRide system. I mean, I am one that absolutely loves the ride system because it gives you the ability to control things so much easier. It's just all right there on that one screen. Ranger has really done a great job in the rear storage area of our boats now, and I've always felt like Ranger has done a better job than a lot of companies. Everything is so accessible in a Ranger. You've got your prop storage in the middle. You have plenty of room, you know, I still run 4 AGMs. I actually am running a separate lithium this year just to power my Garmin electronics. So you have plenty of room in that. The Ranger is just simple and it's all convenient. I mean, it's user friendly, it's customer friendly. You know, one of the biggest things about this era that we're fishing in today is the need for everything that electronics companies offer, and Garmin does a phenomenal job across the board. I mean, I'm actually running a 16 this year. It is unbelievable when it comes to live scoping how much difference that 86-16 makes. Being able to see the size of the fish and really being able to break things down. I mean, especially for me getting older. And then I've got my other unit up front that I'm running all my Garmin mapping. Then at the console, I've actually got two units, so I run mapping, side imaging, so you know there's a lot of features there that Garmin hasn't covered. You know, one thing about it, I mean, that's the other thing that Ranger does, and is offer the customer the opportunity to put what electronics and what mounts you want to put on your boat. And Beat Down Outdoors has actually come with custom fitted stuff for all the Ranger boats, so I have got a custom leveling plate. I'm running a Beat Down Ultimate Shorty up front that is capable of holding 2 units. I can raise that unit up off the deck of the boat 20-some inches, so it allows me, with my struggle and what I'm seeing today, to get that screen up closer to me. Then you take a look at the console. You've got I've got the Beat Down double console unit, so it's mounted on a ledge. The units are both on slides, so I can spread them out, I can pull them in, I can angle them any direction I want to get the glare off of the units. Beat Down is building some of the most durable product I can ever remember running, and you know, I check my screws occasionally, but you really don't have to worry about it. Tighten it down, take off and go, and don't worry.
That will conclude this episode of the Bass Pro Shops Fisherman's Handbook. Thanks for watching. This has been a Carico TV production.